And sometimes in the act of doing the thing that's not so fun and you don't get immediate results, you almost think, man, why would I do that again when it wasn't fun
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't get immediate results and I'm supposed to keep doing it? And that's my business, guys. That's many of you and the things that you're doing. You're like, hold on, I'm doing this and I'm not really having a whole bunch of fun doing it, because people always say, well, I'm not good at sales, or I don't really want to do this where people are mean. And so you're not really loving it in the beginning. You're not really getting results in the beginning, but you consistently do it anyway because you see long-term what could happen.
What the fun could be.
Exactly.
If you're a go-getter, faith-driven, and family-focused, and need to break through to your next level, this is the podcast for you. Your self-talk can reshape every area of your life. It's time to dream and think big. Welcome to the Self-Talk Experience with Darnell and Tracy Self. It's time to elevate, baby. Let's get into the show.
What's up, Self-Talk Experience family? Darnell Self and my co-host, Tracy Self.
It's me. I'm here today.
Hey, listen, we're excited to be back with another episode of the Self-Talk Experience. Remember, the things we say to ourselves about ourselves eventually determines what we attract for ourselves. Hey, if you've been checking us out for a little bit now, because we're well over 125 episodes, so you should probably know that by now, right? You should say that to yourself. Hey, look, remember, the things we say to ourselves about ourselves eventually will determine what we attract for ourselves, right? Because the story that we believe about ourselves determines what we attract.
What did you tell yourself today? What story are you telling yourself today, Darnell Self?
Well, so why'd you say my whole name?
I like saying your whole name. Don't you like when I say your whole name?
I do. Okay. So for those who are listening to this, I'm so glad you decided to listen and not watch, because you don't even want to know what she did. All right. So today I wanted to talk about a topic where I know it may be a little controversial, just a little.
Oh, okay.
Just a little, because sometimes folks believe that you always have to like what you're doing or have fun while you're doing it, or otherwise it's not your purpose or something you should be doing.
Oh, I know. That's one of your triggers. When folks say, well, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. What?
Right.
You don't like it.
Well, I mean, and only...
I get what they're trying to say.
Exactly right.
But you really take it on a whole another level. But I get where you're coming from too.
Yeah, because if I think about all of our successful colleagues and even those who I read autobiographies of, it wasn't always fun.
Well, we were just this past week here watching the Olympics for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it looked great when you win and you get the gold and the silver and the bronze. But there's no way that they weren't working for the last 4 years.
Right.
That part wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Winning the gold was fun.
Right.
I can only imagine.
Right.
But like you said, there were some parts that weren't fun.
Right. Exactly right. Exactly right. And even if you love, like you have a passion for running track, or I have a passion for business and people development and leadership, but it doesn't mean that every day that is actually fun. Like I don't know if I ever say, man, I can't wait to dive into this seminar. You know what I mean? I can't wait to read 10 more books. But I do like what I get from reading. I do like what I get from attending masterminds and events. But, sometimes I'm like, man, I'd rather be at the beach.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Soaking in the sun and relaxing, or at a spa. That's fun, like all the time for me.
Oh, I know something that's always fun.
What?
Being the passenger princess. That's always fun. That's something I enjoy. I love to do, and it's always fun.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoy being a passenger princess, because I don't know what I would do if you were the one always driving.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Babe, I'm a great driver. I'm a great driver, guys.
Now, how do you define great?
A great driver takes care of their vehicle. It's always in tip-top shape, inside and out. And you get there safely every single time. Okay? Is that a great definition?
No, because you can have a nice car and you keep it clean, but you're a horrible driver.
No, I'm saying for me, I'm talking about myself.
Okay.
You asked me, for my definition.
Yes, okay.
I did run out of gas the other day. But that's a whole other story. Shout out to my oldest, Rayvon, for coming to my rescue. Anyway, why are we talking about that? Let's talk about other things. What's the point of this conversation?
So the point is that your self-talk is going to be critical in the moments that you're not really having fun, but you realize what you're doing is going to yield a result that you desire. And like, if you want to have a better life, a more joyful life, or maybe reach your dreams.
Yes.
In your current situation, current career, current finances aren't going to allow you to travel to the places you want to go. Or maybe, you're in a place where you're like, man, I'm not really happy in all of my relationships.
Right.
So that means you got to dig deep and say, man, am I the cause of my unhealthy relationships? Am I tolerating things that I shouldn't? Am I ignoring red flags that are apparent? And so that means there's some work that has to be done, maybe therapy, and that's not always fun. Right. Digging up some things that are rooted that we've got to uncover so that we can be better.
And sometimes things are constant. Sometimes you have something where it's not fun in the beginning, but afterwards it's always fun.
Yeah.
But then you have things like you say in business, there's always going to be ebbs and flows where it's fun and it's not fun, but it's always worth it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to separate that because sometimes you say, oh my gosh, I've been working so hard at this for the past 3 years. I needed to be fun all the time now. Well, no, you work to get to a point and then you keep working to get to the next point, right?
Yeah, that is so true because, what you currently have is inside your comfort zone. And so what you want and don't currently have is outside your comfort zone, because if you had it, it means it's inside your comfort zone and you wouldn't need to stretch anymore.
Right.
So when I reach a particular point, I'm like, man, all right, now let's go to this level, right? We always meet up about our goals. We're like, all right, now we've done this. Let's check that box. Now it's time to do this. So we're never like, oh, we're good.
Right.
Right. So because of that, that means that now I have to stretch outside my comfort zone. When you're stretching outside your comfort zone, it's not always comfortable.
And it's not always fun.
That's my point.
At all.
So I've become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Because, is it because you know that there's some type of reward at the end that you're looking forward to?
Every time. I've already proven it to myself.
So you set your goal and like, this is what I want. Do you do it where you say, this is the fun I want at this level? Do you picture that?
Yeah.
You talk yourself into that?
I do. And that's why that self-talk is so important. Like I have my eyes on the prize and I'm like, I'm so excited about this experience. And I'm not even experiencing it yet, but I already know how much I'm going to enjoy it.
Right.
It's like, a handful of us, like 20 something of us are going to Spain. And Marbella, Spain. And so I've already imagined, like, we try to arrange, like, hey, what if we all got on the same flight? And what if we all, right? So I picture those things. So that means the no's I'm getting when I'm in, sales and marketing, or the people that are rude and the people that are negative and the people that
can take you off your day.
Exactly. So that's not fun when you deal with that.
No.
It's not fun when you deal with folks who just say ignorant things.
Right.
So that's, there's nothing fun about that. But if it means you can go to Spain, then hey, I'll deal with a few negative people.
But that's when your self-talk is so important, right, babe?
It is.
Because sometimes you have to just block it and keep talking to yourself and saying the same things and your affirmations.
Yeah.
Because it could be a struggle.
No, it is. I'm making it sound easy.
It can break you.
Yeah.
So just forget it.
I know.
Right?
I've been there. That's what I'm saying. I've been there. So I'm not like just, pointing the finger. Like, you need to be, I'm saying,
of course, no.
Right. We decided to do this podcast because we felt like we have overcome so many things and still overcoming so many things that we face daily in life. And we talk through those things.
Right.
And we thought, man, I bet a lot of folks could use some of our experience to help elevate them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's why it's a self-talk experience. It's our experience. And it keeps us in a place where hopefully it doesn't ever feel like we're being judgmental, because it's our experience. And we're saying, hey, here's where we messed up. And here's where we had to shift our self-talk. And here's the place I was at when I was wondering if this was going to work, because I had a certain amount of no's in a row.
Also, it's our experience what worked for us too.
Yeah, no doubt. No
Right?
doubt. And sometimes you have to see what doesn't work so you know what you're looking for, which results in what is working and what you do want.
Yeah, absolutely.
And right, it's like you had a certain amount of bad relationships. And so not only did you learn from the lessons, but now you know what you're looking for based on what you had.
Yes.
right? So sometimes, we could look at our mistakes as negative, or we can look at them as setups for an amazing life. And so when we're talking about having fun, I can list a whole bunch of things that I think are fun,
Sure.
right? And I think a lot of us can, but it doesn't mean that's what we get to do every day.
Right. And I think we always talk about this social media.
I know.
When you post, it's always great. It's always positive and it's always things that are going well, but we don't post the hard work part.
Right. Yeah.
Usually no one does.
Yeah. Not while you're in it. Like I'll go back and say, here's a house that was up for foreclosure. Here's the situation I was in. But I don't do it while I'm going through it. Hey, today, guys, it's the worst day ever, right? Because that's not really inspirational for folks.
And it's not good for you.
Right. That's true.
As a person.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to be careful who you share what with and in the timing.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. The timing is important. So we're talking about not always having fun, guys. So you can think about some things right now that perhaps you do, and maybe it's even your job or your career. You're like, I don't really have fun in my career every day, but my career helps me too.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me to right now provide for my kids, let's say. It helps me to take a vacation here and there.
Right.
It helps me to be able to contribute to charities that I believe in or my ministry. So even if you're like, hey, I actually don't like what I do day to day, but I love what the difference I'm able to make.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I just thought of something that I know is fun for you all the time. Being
What?
married to me. You forgot about that. That's something that doesn't go with what you're talking about. That's always fun, right?
No. The majority of the time, yes. But there's some times, listen, like we're here to help the people out. So there are times I'm like, okay, we got to talk. And that's not always fun. It's fruitful.
It's fun if we're doing it while I'm the passenger princess.
Fun for you.
Babe, I'm kidding. I know. I'm just bothering.
Yeah. When you're in business class, it's fun. It's easy to have It's easy to have a discussion or a debate when you're in business class than you are when you're in coach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's true or not. I just made that up.
I like it.
Because if you don't like the person, it's probably hard all the time. But if you actually like the person and you see yourself being friends with that person forever,
right,
and you see yourself in a relationship with that person forever, then you're okay with having some temporary, I'll just call it pain for lack of a better word. You're okay with short-term pain for long-term gain. You're okay with, hey, listen, like I used to say to you in the beginning when we first started our business, and I knew, because I know one of your love languages is time.
Right.
And I knew that I was going to put a lot of time in my business during that season because we were really broke. You know, me say something twice, it means a lot, right? It's
right.
cold outside, right? But you ever say it twice. So we were broke. And I knew that I was going to spend extra time in my business. You know what I mean? Come in at midnight, like all types of things, right? And so because of that, I knew that you weren't going to be happy. That wasn't fun to you. I knew you weren't going to be happy, but I thought, hey, I'd rather be a little unhappy for 2 years and then be able to spend all the time we want together, because now we travel together. We're in a different season, empty nesters. So even though I'm gone a lot, you're with me when I'm gone.
Yes.
So we're experiencing new hotels, new restaurants, new museums, new parks, new like all kind of things.
Right.
And so, but it was short-term pain for long-term gain. And that's what I'm trying to get everybody to appreciate is that, and sometimes it's not even like a straight 2 years. Like some of us, like you said, ebbs and flows. Like today is not going to be the best day, but tomorrow will be better. Right. This week won't all be fun because you got to audit or you've got, some inventory you got to do with your career or your business. But the next week, man, you're looking forward to next month because next month you get this. Next month, it's a celebration when you're a mastermind. You bring all of your clients together for Client Appreciation Month. You really look forward to that. So all I'm saying is that we have to watch our self-talk, because if we're not careful and we say that, look, if it's not fun, I'm just not doing it, period.
That's not good.
That's not good. But I know, because I have friends that actually say that, right? And I think I know what they mean by that.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Which is that, like, look, I want to enjoy what I do most of the time. I just want to be careful that it's not an absolute.
Yes.
Right?
Just
you know
break
how I
it
feel
down.
about absolutes.
Oh, we know.
Right? Like you always. I'm like, never? Never. You really want to say that? Say that again, and I just want to hear. I want you to hear you say that.
Don't do that to him, please.
That's what I do to
It's
my
a
friends.
warning. Yeah.
Yeah. So never, always, really. Everybody says, how many people? John said it, and keep going. I think Mario. So 2 people said. You just said everybody, so everybody turned into 2.
I know, baby.
I'm just helping y'all out. So fun is what I'm saying. It's not all the time. So be careful with that, right? It's not always fun. So we just wanted to help you guys out with that because today, I know I have to make a few calls and a couple of leadership calls to help develop a few people to their next level. And it may not be fun for that person to hear my feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I'm recording this not on the day that it'll be viewed, because then that person will be like, you were talking about me. So you have no idea who I was talking about. No idea. So, but my point is that that's not always fun for me, but it's rewarding because I know that it's out of love, and I know it's because I want what's best for that person. So I'm okay with having what would be probably termed as tough conversation.
And not fun.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So anything you do all the time, by the way, before we end this episode, that's fun the majority of the time?
Oh, man. It's really fun being your wife and taking care of you and making sure you're good. That's usually fun for me. I don't usually get pushback from that.
I didn't prepare this question, so I know you couldn't have prepared that answer. So is that just what you want the audience to hear? So you know what I mean? So they be like, oh man, I can't even flirt with him because she taking care of him, she cooking for him. Is that like your agenda there?
What is happening right now? I don't understand how this went this way. But I will say that something that's not always fun is my workout. And it came to mind because I just had my workout with my trainer, Zadia, today. I love her. But it's hard. But when I get dressed and I go out and I do these things, I look at how I look and how I feel, and I know that it's worth it. And that part is fun. When I can go try on stuff that I know I may not have been able to wear, that I can wear because I'm taking care of myself and working out, and how I feel also is really important, even more so than how I look.
Yeah.
So the work that I put in at the gym with all those heavy weights isn't always fun, but I do see the results, and that is something that I could say.
Yeah. I mean, we have on Life Med shirts right now.
Oh yeah, shout out to Life Med.
Yeah. So we go get our intravenous supplements and vitamins.
Yes.
Which is great, right? It immediately goes into your stream. We feel good, and I just think it's important that, sometimes the sacrifice, because we actually go 50 minutes in traffic, sometimes it's an hour to go to this place, but we love Life Man, and we love the people that are there, but we love how it makes us feel.
Yeah, we'll put the details down here.
Yeah. If you're in Maryland.
If you're in our area, yes.
Yeah. So, but I think it's important to understand exactly what you just said. I went to, for the first time, our friend Mercedes, who was actually a guest.
She was a guest.
Yeah, she was a guest here with the podcast. You may remember that she's from Ecuador, and she talked about the time where she was looking inside of restaurants, which she couldn't go in, thinking, man, it must be nice to be able to eat inside of a restaurant. And she was like a little kid looking through the glass. That was her story. If you go back and watch it, it's really a phenomenal story because of the success she has today and traveling the world, et cetera.
Yes.
But so she invited me to this workout. It was like Pilates, but not. It's like if you combine HIIT, Pilates, and yoga all at one time
in
97 degrees.
That's
when I walked
crazy.
in, I said, what in the world? This is a setup. But my point in saying that is about 20 minutes in, I thought, okay, I'm so not a quitter, but I so badly wanted to just walk out. And it's like, hey, I appreciate you inviting me, but I just couldn't. It's 60 minutes. And I was like, I got it. And so I'm just keeping trying. I'm like, all right, I can do anything for 30 minutes, anything. So I can do anything for 20 minutes. So it really wasn't fun at the time, but afterwards I felt so accomplished.
Yeah.
It felt like when I was getting my black belt, like I didn't have one more kick in me, not one more punch in me, nothing. Like you were completely spent. I was exhausted after that workout. I literally laid there on the yoga mat for a second, like what is happening to me? But here's my point. It wasn't actually fun the entire time.
Right.
At first it was. I was like, okay, I got this. After 15 minutes, I was like, whoa.
No.
And it wasn't like heavy weights or anything. But here's my point. It wasn't fun, but I felt accomplished. And I felt afterwards, I felt so energized. And today, a little sore, but I felt a little energized. And I felt like I could do this again.
Good. Good.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes in the act of doing the thing that's not so fun and you don't get immediate results, you almost think, man, why would I do that again when it wasn't fun? And I didn't get immediate results, and I'm supposed to keep doing it. And that's my business, guys. That's many of you and the things that you're doing. You're like, hold on, I'm doing this, and I'm not really having a whole bunch of fun doing it, because people always say, well, I'm not good at sales, or I don't really want to do this where people are mean. And so you're not really loving it in the beginning. You're not really getting results in the beginning, but you consistently do it anyway because you see long-term what could happen.
What the fun could be.
Exactly. By example, by seeing other people, and you're like, man, if they did it and they had to go through that same process, then I could push through, especially if the coach is telling you, who's been through whatever that process is, whether it's, physical workouts or whether it's ministry or whether it's business. You're like, look, you're on track. You know what I mean? It may take about another 6 months, but you got to see what the bigger picture is like.
Just keep going.
You got to keep it going, guys. So we just wanted to encourage you today by saying it may not be fun and you may not see immediate results, but we're going to encourage you to continue to do it, because is it easy? Probably not. But will it be worth it? And the answer is absolutely yes. All right, guys, this has been another episode of the Self-Talk Experience. Remember, the things we say to ourselves about ourselves eventually will determine what and even who we attract for ourselves.
And if it's not fun, I'm probably not going to be there.
See you guys.
Thank you for listening to the Self-Talk Podcast with Darnell and Tracy Self. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. And we'll see you next time. And remember, talk good to yourself.